There have been very few times in my life where I only had one major commitment going on at a time. After I finished high school, I usually had a job plus college or multiple jobs if I wasn't currently in school. The only time I was truly commitment free was when I was laid off. I hadn't started school at Herzing and I was looking for a new job. It was the longest 3 months of my life. Being a full-time student with a full-time job has been my life for the past 2 years. Once I graduate and get my medical billing and coding certification, I'm going to be back to one commitment until I get a part-time job utilizing my new degree. As a teenager, I never thought I would end up working more than one job at a time. In the fall of 2007, I started my senior year of high school. Knowing full well what my class schedule was going to look like, I applied for a retail position as a joke. It was only a joke because I had interviewed at a different location 2 years prior and wasn't hired. Much to my surprise, I was offered a position opening up a new store. On top of my already packed class schedule, I was now working after school and on weekends. In addition to those regular hours, I worked overnights multiple times in a row. I slowly became sleep deprived, not knowing this was going to be a regular thing. Once I graduated high school, I picked up even more hours at work. In the fall of 2008, I started my first year of college at the College of St. Catherine, now St. Catherine University. I was not prepared for the workload my classes were going to give me. I reduced my hours in work in order to accommodate my class schedule. By the spring of 2009, I was so overwhelmed I was physically sick. This was the second time in my life when I decided I couldn't handle what I was putting myself through. Just like I did my sophomore year of high school, I made the choice to quit my job. Within a month, I had already applied for cosmetology school and got a job with Bruegger's Bagels. Working full-time at Bruegger's and taking full-time classes was tough, but I managed. As I was approaching my graduation in 2010, I knew I was going to want to work in a salon. The craziness began that summer. 2010 was the start of what you would call a workaholic streak. Once I graduated from cosmetology school, I decided I really needed a job in the field. I kept my full-time hours at Bruegger's while getting part-time hours working at Sally Beauty Supply. It became increasingly difficult to apply for a salon job. At this point, I had to make the choice to leave Bruegger's and get a full-time hours at Sally's while applying for salon positions. I eventually got a part-time job at Great Clips close to where I was living, although I wasn't getting enough hours to keep my license active nor pay bills. Before leaving Great Clips, I got a part-time job at another clothing store. By the spring of 2012, I had one full-time job and two part-time jobs. But as quickly as I left Great Clips, I applied for a beauty advisor position at Walgreens. Shortly after receiving the offer, I left the clothing store. This still left me with one full-time job and one part-time job. Accepting the job at Walgreens turned out to be a life changer for me. I had only been there a couple weeks before I was offered a full-time position in the pharmacy. I left Sally's. This meant I was now back to one job with no school to worry about. Never in my wildest dreams had I thought about working in the medical field. Working as a pharmacy technician came naturally to me. Since I was picking up on everything so quickly, I was put in charge of training new hires. Within less than 2 years, I was a certified senior pharmacy technician. Luckily for me, I didn't have to pay for school. At the time, Walgreens paid for all certification training and the certification test. I soon found out that with that title comes a lot of responsibility. Due to my open availability, I was a designated trainer for all new hires. I also picked up extra hours both in the pharmacy and in the front of the store. I got to the point where I was working double shifts and/or shifts working more than 8 hours straight. Working extra hours constantly with very few days off left me extremely burnt out. Between being burnt out and an altercation with a coworker, I decided to leave the job I was most dedicated to. It took me about a month to get a new job. Filling out applications daily kept me busy, and I was ecstatic to start my new job as an administrative assistant for a PCA company. Although I was no longer in a pharmacy, I was still using the skills I learned. After 6 months of working a 9-to-5 job, I was laid off. I was now stuck. I need to pay for my bills, but it was difficult to get a job with only a pharmacy tech certification. The more I searched for jobs, the more I realized I needed a degree for the jobs I wanted. In the meantime, I had to settle for something that would give me income. I took a huge leap in 2015 with both my education and my career. Step one was finding an online school that would give me the degree I wanted. Herzing had options for me to choose from with the field I wanted a degree in. I didn't want to overwhelm myself by committing to multiple years to school. After talking to Herzing staff, I chose the Medical Billing and Coding Diploma program. By starting in the fall of 2015, I would be done by winter 2016. The job hunt was going nowhere fast. My sister made multiple offers to work with her, and I finally accepted after 3 months of unemployment. What started off as working the ticket counter and gate turned into working those areas plus working ramp. As it turns out, handling baggage and aircraft became something I was passionate about. I got a rush from completing flights, even when I was working crazy hours. Somehow, I managed to balance my education and my work. Eventually, there was a change with the company I was working for. I was going to be able to work for the new company. Since the new company was taking over in a month, that is the timeline I gave myself to get a new job. By some miracle, I got a job offer the day the new company took over. I would be working part-time for a new clinical building. Part-time work in addition to school wasn't enough. I ended up getting rehired at the same job I left in 2009. That only lasted a few months before Fairview gave me the option to go full-time. Those full-time hours made it hard to get my diploma, but I did it. Before graduation, I already lined up my associate's degree program. I was going to have a few months off before packing my schedule. Dedication is one of my main qualities. It's also a quality I am proud of. Without it, I wouldn't be where I am today. When people hear what my work schedule is, they are surprised. They're even more surprised when I tell them I'm also a full-time student. I am running at full capacity from 3 a.m. to almost 10 p.m. Monday through Friday. I barely know what sleep is anymore. The success from this hectic life has left me with very proud parents and a sense of fulfillment. All I do is work and continue to learn. Being open to new opportunities and being persistent has helped me advance to a better career and get a better education. Being lazy gets nowhere in life.